let's do more quick plugs. Richie, people want to find out about you. Where do they go?
Well, first and foremost, because we're here for the movie, everyone check out thekingofarcades.com. Sean, did you get the link back up yet to the trailer? Okay, thekingofarcades.com is where you can watch our 7-minute trailer. The 7-minute trailer does not really give away much of what the movie is about. The movie has a lot of drama and a lot. The trailer was basically, it's simple. Sean followed me around with a camera for a year and a half, and we had no plot. We just knew we were capturing a lot of great stuff. And then all of a sudden, the plot happened. You know, Twin Galaxies wound up being for sale. The Kong-Offs franchise, the franchise of bringing all the best Donkey Kong players together at the same time, was making money. I met my partner in crime, Jordan Adler, who owns both of the bars in Denver called the 1-Up and the 2-Up. He and I concocted a plan how to become the new owners of Twin Galaxies, and hence now you have a story. Instead of just being a bunch of scorekeepers that keep a database online, we came up with a plan to have high-profile contests on all of the games, not only the classic arcade games, but consoles and the newer games, and with huge prize money. I'm pretty good at going out and getting sponsorship and people to believe in us. We're talking to MTV about a TV series sort of like American Pickers, Pawn Stars, but for game rooms. So hopefully all of this will come true. And the arcade I have in New Jersey, of course, would be sort of like when Guy Fieri goes to somewhere for diners, drive-ins, and dives, everybody starts going there to check it out. Hopefully after our movies come out, my establishments will experience that same influx of customer base.
When can we expect the movie to come out?
Hold on, let me talk to my lawyer. Hold on.
Probably around like March or April, something like that.
Around March or April.
Of this year?
Yeah. We're going to be done shooting the end of February.
Is it going to be a sort of on-demand type thing, iTunes, or is it going to be, are you trying to get theatrical?
Stuff.
As far as I'm concerned, we are going to all of the film festivals.
The movie follows Walter. The movie follows Richie. Like, it's more about, like, you don't have to be into video games to like this movie.
Is that Walter?
It is Walter Day.
Let's see if we can get Walter maybe to call into the station. We can do it that way.
Yeah, Walter, would you please call a certain phone number? Let me give you over to my main man over here. Hold on.
Here we go. Oh, I dropped the number. Jeff talk.
Everybody, Walter Day, he is going to call. Can I say it over the air? It is.
Hold on,
here, somebody go whisper this to him.
Softly, slowly.
We give you the phone number, but
sexy.
It's top secret.
Yeah, so
Tell the number sexy.
the phone.
I'm worried about that monitor.
In my opinion, I think Sean and I should hit every film festival. Didn't Tribeca already contact us?
Yeah, we have a lot of cool. Kickstarter got us a lot of big producers and a lot of people involved in the project.
Tell them about Adam Goldberg.
Yeah, the writer of Monsters vs. Aliens, all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
awesome.
Star Wars Fanboys.
Fanboys.
The writer of
Yeah.
Fanboys. And
He's our executive producer.
now, and we met a lot of cool people through that. But the movie, you don't have to be into video games to like the film. It's really like Richie's like the Rocky character. Like, he just goes through so much to try to keep this arcade thriving in an age when it's like almost impossible. That, you know, when things start to go wrong for him, I think it's more of a human drama kind of story.
I'm also in a crazy punk band, and he films like us in these seedy punk bars, and people are jumping off the stage. There was actually, believe it or not, there was a Pac-Man.
Mosh pits in his arcade.
There was a Pac-Man machine at the last punk club we played, and people were jumping off of the Pac-Man machine on top of us.
We also, while someone's doing like a 70-hour marathon on like an old game, we've talked to people who made these games too, all the creators of the games and everything like that too. We talked to the man Ralph Baer who invented video games, 90 years old, still working. He came out with the idea to play a game on a TV. You know, cool stuff.
I must say this, though. You asked me to plug knucklesandwich.com. My guys, my whole band out there is listening. That is where you can check out our music. knucklesandwich.com.
So the next guest we have calling into the show is another one. If you've watched the King of Kong or Chasing Ghosts, is the man basically responsible for keeping this culture together, starting with the mid '80s. Who took the poll and kind of ran with it in that running contest. I'm bad with analogies tonight. I think I need another beer. Anyways, since the 1980s, he's made Twin Galaxies what it is today, which is internationally known for keeping the scores of these classic arcade games. And if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, you might see a guy who actually looks just like Walter in the movie.
Cool.
So I'm very glad to have Walter Day joining us on the show. Walter, can you hear us?
I sure can. Thank you for having me as a guest.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on to the show. When Sean was like, I can get Walter maybe to call in, I think my exact quote was, I'm geeking out to the point of oblivion. Having Walter on it's a dream. Again, Walter, I was one of those guys who was sitting there, watching a movie trailer, and I saw The King of Kong, and I saw, everything, go through this trailer and what this movie was about. And I had to run up to New York from my house in New Jersey to see this movie. And you were one of those people in the movie where it's almost too good to be true. This man who has kept video games alive just for the benefit of the culture. You always see yourself in this role? Is it something that was kind of thrust upon you? How do you feel about being the man who's kept this alive?
Well, I think that we've kept it alive through CPR, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, those big paddles that you put on the heart, kind of like give it a big jolt. Interestingly enough, the spirit that still exists out there actually keeps this alive. And I want to let me do an aside for a second. I'm in my car driving to my office. The phone just told me the battery's low, so I'm going to keep talking. And if I run out of juice before I get to the house, then I'll just call you back when I get in the house, because my house is only 4 minutes away.
Okay.
All right. It's a
but
race against the clock.
Yeah, it's racing. I feel like James Bond right now. Sergeant Walter
That's right.
Day.
I have to race across the track in front of a speeding train too. All that.
Yes, it's the way I picture it in my mind.
So essentially, there's that spirit that exists out there, where people from all walks of life, from all areas of society, from all ages and all gender, they love to play video games, and they love to have casual competition, all the way up the scale to serious competition. And Twin Galaxies exists to serve and monitor and adjudicate all those kind of actions for all those groups of people. And finding that hardly do we have to really set up contests or organize video game playing before there's a huge response, because there's that much. It's been adopted so deeply into the psyche that gaming is just the number one way of life in terms of entertainment. So we do keep it alive. But really what we are is we are a conduit for that spirit that is already there.
Very well said. Very well
That was
said.
very well
That is
said.
eloquent.
Walter is one hell of a speaker.
He's a poet. I like to ramble through my words and have no coherent thought, and you're like a lyrical
He
genius.
used conduit in a sentence. Pretty impressed.
Okay, I promise that on the next answer I'll ramble and I won't know what I'm saying.
Nice. Thank you. How many years has it been since you started Twin Galaxies, both the arcade and the keeping of the scores?
Let's see. We started the scoreboard on February 9th, 1982, and Twin Galaxies was opened its doors as an arcade on November 10th, 1981, like 3 or 4 months earlier than that. But we started using the actual name Twin Galaxies, signing papers and making releases and stuff like that, as early as the end of September 1981. So essentially, Twin Galaxies is an organization that's around at least 32 years old, and the scoreboard is going to have its 31st birthday in a matter of weeks.
I can't believe you remember all these dates. I can't even get my wife's birthday right, and you're just spouting these dates off.
I'm with you on that.
That's on record right now.
I need Walter to call me on my wife's birthday. It's your wife's birthday, Ryan. Give her a card.
I find that strange because I've never had a problem remembering your wife's birthday.
Zing!
The problem is he's not
These guys
joking.
are a bunch of ball busters. They're good.
Before we even get into more Twin Galaxies and with Richie and the King of Arcades, how did it feel to have that character based on you in Wreck-It Ralph?
Well, first of all, it's kind of a funny thing, because you'll see confessions all over the internet, that yes, this was Wreck-It Ralph, and posts that yes, this is Walter Day and Wreck-It Ralph. But if you go and officially ask the lawyers will say, nope, just a coincidence. Because I think what happened is the people there in the actual division that made Wreck-It Ralph told me directly on the phone that I was the inspiration. I inspired the movie, is what they said. And so it's pretty clear from the creative minds inside that that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to go and recognize Twin Galaxies, me, and all the people who were part of the ancient arcade tradition, and give them the cameos and give them a place in everybody's heart. Because Ralph is really interesting. It's a movie that's actually being embraced by the hearts of young people. So it's having, I think it's going to have a very deep, very long, very wonderful effect on people's appreciation of gaming as a part of the psyche of our time. But the point is that I was going to get at is that they tried to make the character be me. And at some point, I think the lawyer said, "Okay, you got to rein it in, you guys. You can't look like him, or he's going to sue us for stuff." So the lawyers are keeping me away from suing them, which I wouldn't do in the first place because I'm so honored that they went and did that. At the same time, they want to be close to me in spirit without giving. Because I've already had numerous people say, "I will go represent you. We'll go take these guys to court." So that's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yes.
Walter, explain to him what we were offered. A sort of like a pat on the ass to keep quiet. What did they offer us, which I'm part of and I cannot wait for?
Well, actually, the people who are in that division of Disney that did that movie, they are, and it's not happened yet, but they've been having meetings and powwows inside the company there on scheduling and planning, like an event where they have a whole bunch of us from Twin Galaxies actually come there and get up on the stage where they show footage of Chasing Ghosts and King of Kong, and the way they described it is maybe have a half-an-hour rally session where they honor us and have us meet the director of the movie, Rich Moore.
Wow.
And it hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened mainly because it's still talk, because they explain that it's still talk because it was the holidays time, and also Rich Moore's away all the time, because Wreck-It Ralph right now, even though we're so familiar with it being out for a while, it's now about to be unveiled around the world.
In Europe.
So that's where Rich Moore is. He's getting interviewed in Shanghai and,
The big thing that's exciting to us is they said, Walter, correct me if I'm wrong, but a private tour of Pixar. How do you like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what gets me crazy. I'd love a private tour of Pixar.
I have a question. Would you guys try to leverage yourselves in the Wreck-It Ralph sequel? Because let's face it, it's going to happen. I mean, the movie made a shit ton of money.
Right now, that is a beautiful idea. I didn't think of that.
Get you guys in as characters.
Well, that or you could leverage Walter being in the new Avengers sequel. Either or.
I could see Walter as an X-Men.
Now replacing Stan Lee.
So it was a nice homage, basically.
Yes, it
Very
was.
nice homage.
Also, too, Walter, what about the story about Qbert with the unplugging of the machine? That one definitely hit me hard. A funny story that had happened at our arcade, George Lutz was going for the world record on Qbert, and he was 40 hours into a 60-hour marathon, and one of my employees was unplugging machines around him, and whether he jostled the plug or just downright unplugged the wrong machine, he reset the Qbert machine 40-something hours into the marathon. That story went viral, went all over the world, to the point that I was doing interviews with squigglies. They were writing to me in squigglies. I guess it's Hebrew, or I don't know what it is, but
It's all squigglies.
it was all squigglies.
Is that what we're calling Hebrew now?
I don't know. Maybe it was Arab. I don't know. But
Young Jews have to go to squiggly school now.
the part that got to me was when you see the first movie poster released for Wreck-It Ralph. Qbert is holding up a sign that says "Game Unplugged." Doesn't say turned off or broken. It says unplugged.
So please tell me, how did the employee feel after unplugging the Qbert game after a 40-hour marathon?
I'm going to guess like an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
But how...
He has a new name. His name is Ed the Human Killscreen. That is not a joke.
And how livid was...
George is a very easygoing guy, and he's a friend of Mary Jane, so he's very calm.
Fair enough.
And
She just went outside and smoked a bowl, and everything was fine after that.
That's cool, man.
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
George is.
It's cool. We'll play again someday.
We'll just try again, man.
Fine. I'm gonna go eat some chips and take a nap. I'll come back tomorrow.
How great is George, Walter? Walter, you still with us?
Yeah, George is absolutely wonderful. George is wonderful.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that, but I can imagine him just kind of leaning back and just getting unplugged and saying, "Wow, cool, man."
Like, dude, all right.
George is an amazing character. In fact, he will be back again at my arcade on Valentine's Day weekend to try it again. We're calling it the Burt Off. There will be another gentleman in Florida named Ed Heemskirk. He's going to start at the same time, and two of them are going to go head-to-head via the internet on a stream. It will be streamed on twingalaxies.com. And here in New Jersey, George, Ed in Florida, and both of them going at the same time, pushing each other farther and farther, trying to break the record of, what is it, Walter, 67 hours, 68 hours?
Well, I've lost track, but the official record is around that, 68, I think.
Now,
68
68
hours.
hours of
It's a time record and not a score
It's
record?
both. It's both. We kind of have it narrowed down to how long it takes to get the score, but what's interesting about Q*bert, and again, yes, it is on one quarter, one attempt. If the machine breaks down, it's over. There is no adding another quarter and adding the scores. The one thing about Q*bert is if you remember Q*bert, it's a pyramid, and it's almost it messes with your eyes. And supposedly, after watching the screen for so many hours, you start to lose coherence because your eyes just go buggy. And we had a gentleman try once before and get up in the 50-hour range, and he started acting strange, like losing his mind.
I
Like,
want to be there
Q*bert
for
is
that.
the new LSD.
yeah, yes, like he was on an LSD
Fuck bath
trip.
salts.
Yeah,
Just go
yeah.
play Q*bert
Yeah.
for 50 hours. Eat somebody's face off.
They're going to remake The Wire, but just with Q*bert. It's like, yo, I got that Q*bert. I got that Q*bert.
Got that Q*bert. 60
Yeah.
hours.
It's up to like level 9, I think, and keeps repeating. So you got that repetition, like it keeps
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
seeing
yeah,
that
and it
scene.
messes
You don't
with
feel
your
like
eyes.
You're progressing anywhere.
Walter, you have some stories from the early 80s of guys losing their mind playing Q*bert, right?
Oh yeah. Well, let me tell you about Jay Kim when Jay Kim's playing Q*bert. It's 1984. We're in the old Twin Galaxies arcade back in Ottumwa, Iowa, which now is history's most renowned, remembered, historical, mythical arcade. And let me make an aside here by saying one of Richie's charges of duty as the new boss of Twin Galaxies is that he wants to bring back that spirit and have some place in America, if not multiple places, that will will pick up the baton, pick up the torch, and essentially become the crossroads of competitive gaming, and be a place that would be like a mecca, a place that people would go to from all over the nation or nations, and go there, even just to say they've been there, and play their games there and show off their stuff there. So, but back in 1984, Jay Kim is a young kid from Korea who grew up in Fort Lauderdale. He's in Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa, Iowa. Come Sunday morning, when the store opens up to the public, he's now been in front of the game about 38 or 40 hours on one quarter playing. And he's having a very hard time, and his eyes have begun to hallucinate because all the shapes and colors begin to dance around and do all sorts of mind-boggling things to your eyes by that time. And he's losing his men real fast, and he's completely under stress because he can't control the game anymore, and he's losing fast. And suddenly a little 10-year-old girl reaches out in front of him and plunks a quarter down on top of the console there. Okay? and it so takes him by surprise that he stops watching the screen and stares at the quarter. and Billy Mitchell, who's there too, comes over and says, "What are you doing? What are you doing? No, move, jump, what are you doing?" And Jay continues to stare at the quarter, and he says, "She put a quarter on the game." And Billy goes, "What?" He says, "Yeah, look, she put a quarter on her game." And Billy goes, "She put a quarter on her game?" "Yeah, he put a quarter on her game." And meanwhile, he's so completely fixated on the quarter that he's not playing anymore. He's losing his men real fast. So Billy turns to the little girl. You got to remember you got to remember the essence of this scenario. He's already so bedazzled by staying up for 2 days straight, and he's completely losing up now. And suddenly, of all disconcerting things to divide his attention and upset him. A little girl puts a quarter on the game while he's playing. And so Billy turns to the girl. He says, "Did you put a quarter on the game?" And she says, "Yeah, and I'm next."
Oh, it's nice to know little girls want to get messed up, too. My turn to Q-Bert. How does it feel to have Richie now, taking hold of the Twin Galaxies legend and continuing it?
Oh, it's wonderful because Richie has a lot of energy and he has a lot of love for it, and he loves people and he can embrace people, and those are some of the most important things. Plus, he knows a huge amount of video game lore, video game, difficulty settings and all sorts of stuff about how games work and how games play. So he's like a walking encyclopedia, and he's got more energy than 20 other people I know, and that implies I know 20 people, of course. And essentially, it's a blessing for Twin Galaxies. For me personally, I have to go out and do music. If you saw those two movies, King of Kong and Chasing Ghosts, I talk about wanting to get a break from this and go out and try and compose the songs that I've been writing.
Yes.
And so this is my break. So Richie already is pulling around from a mastermind group who will share responsibilities, but also share the fun of watching this thing grow by cultivating it and watering it and fertilizing it, because Twin Galaxies is a phenomenon that has tremendous potential to embrace the whole world and be essentially the crossroads of competitive gaming. And so Richie can do that. Everybody believes in him. We're excited about it. We're behind him, and there's nothing stopping this from coming to fruition.
Thank you, Walter.
It's one of my favorite parts of King of Kong. It's like, months later, and Walter's in that big jacket, and he's playing the guitar. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's just an awesome way to segue from one part of that movie into the other with Walter. I love the music that you did in there. So that's what you're transitioning into now, is the music. Do you have anything put together already? Is there a website? So how is that transition going?
Well, I'm still working on that. The funny thing about me, as I've explained to Rich and other people, because some of them would like me to stay and help with Twin Galaxies, but I personally don't have the ability to do a whole lot of things as good as I could. What I mean by that is that I'm like a computer that has a limited amount of RAM, and I can only run so many programs at a time. And for me to completely focus on music means I have to completely empty my soul of video games and everything else and just focus on music. And that way, I'll be able to touch down to the level from which I can write the best music and hear clearly the best music. So I have to really be focused on music only. So I'm kind of like going forward and doing music, and that's the process, getting ready to pass off all the remaining aspects of Twin Galaxies to Richie and his think tank that he's developing, and move into the music realm where I'm going to be fiercely, focused on just doing music. And so my first thing I probably will do, like you saw in the King of Kong, I'll probably do a national tour of freezing barns, just like in the movie. It was so cold when they filmed me outside that barn. Unbelievable. It was late November, and it was like, 22 degrees or something. You ever played the guitar outside in 22-degree weather? It's pretty intense. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving towards music, and that's my heart's desire now.
Do you think you'll be able to separate yourself totally? I mean, let's say even this past weekend, you and Richie were hanging out in Texas at a show. I mean, do you think it's going to be something you're going to be able to completely separate yourself from?
Well, I certainly have to try. I mean, I love Twin Galaxies, and all these people are my friends, but it's one of those things where if I don't actually do it, it won't happen. I actually have to do the music and make the separation, or the music won't happen, because it won't happen by itself. Now, Richie's sort of a multi-talented genius who can actually have a family, have an arcade, do Twin Galaxies, and have a rock and roll band, and also have a budding movie career and all sorts of stuff like that. And he can pull them off equally as well. I'm not as talented as him. I just have to do one thing at a time to get
that is not that is not the case. You were just not brought up in the era of multitasking. You were brought up in the era of peace, love, and free sex.
It's a good time. Good time.
Well, I remember the peace and the love, but I don't remember the last part.
Oh, wait, no, that's today. Oh, Walter, you're wonderful, brother. Anybody else have any other questions? I have one other guy that's dying to call in from one of the movies.
All righty.
Anyone?
Any questions for Walter? Walter, thank you, brother. Thank you for calling in and saying such kind things. I will make you proud. Also, too, we should announce that Walter's music, I am also helping him with his music. My band has been in the studio for the last 3 months, and as soon as we're done, we're going to get Walter into the studio and start recording his music.
Good deal.
Yes, I said I'd help him produce his record, and we have such ideas. His music is so multi-layered, it is going to be sort of like, like Journey meets Styx meets arena rock.
You had me at Journey. Walter, you have an open invitation. You wanna, if you're coming in New Jersey, you are more than welcome to come on here and jam and play some songs.
I think my music is more like Britney Spears meets El Guapo.
Oh,
I would pay money to hear that.
I would pay money to hear that.
El Guapo's my side band. Let's answer this call. Walter, we love you, brother.
All right, Walter. Thank you
Walter.
so much for calling in, Walter.
Thank you.
All right, so we have another call.
I don't know who it is yet. Let's find out.
Hello, Mr. Richie Knucklez. It's Joel West.
Joel West from Chasing Ghosts.
Oh.
This character is the guy in Chasing Ghosts that was famous for the Berserk. Remember the Berserk?
Yes.
Yes. How you doing, Joel?
All right, great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Joel had the best line in Chasing Ghosts. Did you guys see Chasing Ghosts?
Yes.
He's the guy that said that the monkey, you can teach a man to play Berserk, but you can't. How'd it go, Joel? Help me out.
Okay. You can teach a monkey how to play a certain number of rooms, but you can't teach a man how to play Berserk. That's where they cut it off.
There you go.
But I finished, they cut my sentence in mid-sentence, and I said, with a 4-room pattern. But anyway, they cut it off, and people got a laugh out of it for some reason.
He also, at the end of Chasing Ghosts, was the guy, they did like a whole scenario for you at the end of Chasing Ghosts that you felt that the name of the movie should have been something better than Chasing Ghosts.
Yeah, earlier you guys were talking about how the name of some of the video game movies weren't that great, and I was laughing. I told them the name of the movie should have been Coins Detected in Pocket.
Because he's a big Berserk head.
Right.
Really big.
It doesn't sound like a porn at all either. So yeah, it's
Jangle, jangle, baby.
Is that a roll of quarters in your pocket? Yes, it is.
Joel is one of those guys that was in the movies, and I sought out when the arcade was starting to get popular. I had sought out a lot of the guys that were in the movies to come to my arcade and come play at my arcade and experience what we had. And what we had, what I thought was special, was a camaraderie and a feeling of home. When you get in, like Cheers, right? Everybody knows your name. That's what we tried to have at our place. And Joel, his first time he set foot in the arcade, it became, and he lives in North Carolina now. And Joel, wouldn't you say your arcade felt, my arcade felt like your home?
Absolutely, and Richie was, so warm and welcoming, and everyone there was just so nice. I'm from North Carolina. I figured that folks in New Jersey were going to constantly talk about how they had an accent, and I didn't. And but Richie was there. Everybody was great, and his machines. I heard you mention that earlier. There are none anywhere that are as finely tuned as his. There are some that machines that he deals with that I think are probably better than the ones that come out of the factory. Not that they're improved settings or anything. It's just that they're pristine, and the pristine looking. The machines work great, and if it's not a Richie Knucklez machine, I don't want to play on it.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's like my spokesperson. He has always been so kind. He also, so we make sure that this is clear, Joel is one of the men on the earth that still plays marathons as well. Q*bert isn't the only game that people play marathons on. There's a game called Frenzy. And Joel's last outing, you broke the world record on Frenzy. How long did you play, Joel?
That game went 48 hours and 22 minutes. But,
Joel, how old are you?
I'll be 53 very soon.
Whoa!
On 1 quarter.
Dude, I can't stand on my feet for 10 minutes. Forget 48 hours.
So Joel's a special guy in his own right that he can play a game for that long.
I'm going to break this down. When you're getting ready for a 48-hour marathon session, like, hey, what do you do with the bathroom, Joel? I mean, that's the first concern right there.
You keep the game close to the bathroom.
Is that
That's
yes,
right.
you can't pause it?
No.
So, I mean, is there like any kind of depends involved? Not trying to be disgusting, but I mean, what's easier than an adult diaper?
That's the first question that everybody asks me. They don't ask me, can you stay awake? Can you do that? What do you do about the bathroom? And, when I first started doing the marathons, I knew that would be a major concern. And so what I started doing when I know I'm going to play a game longer than 8 or 10 hours is I fast, water only, for a week before I start playing. And when you fast for a week, on the 8th day, you get an adrenaline rush that's naturally because your body's detoxifying. And I get that rush, and it carries me through that second day, which is usually my hardest.
Yeah.
And so I do not eat or drink anything but water during that week, and it doesn't bother me at all.
I'm mad that marathon gamers are in better shape than I am. Like, it's the Olympics. I'm just, like, I'm going to sit down on the Xbox. Oh, it's 2 hours. I got my chips here. I got my beer. Oh, I'm going to rule this thing.
So the whole fasting thing is like a religious thing for you as well, then, I guess, right?
Well, actually, that's how I learned to fast many years ago. But as far as for the video games, no, it's not. It's just I know that it physically works for me. I know I can do it. So I do it. I mean, I've gone 3 weeks before, no problem. But I only need a week to get into the game, and then during the time I'm playing the game. And about 2 months ago, I did a fast, and I had some time off from work, and I played 43 hours, and I wasn't satisfied with that. I still had another 5 days off from work, so I came back, still fasting, and played 48 hours all in the same week. So I played like 91 hours that week.
What do you do for work?
Can you get me a job there?
Independently wealthy.
Yeah, right. I'm a paralegal, and so I had some vacation time off I had to take for the end of the year, so that's what I did. And I played video games instead of going somewhere.
That's what I do with
There's
my
there's
vacation
nothing
time as well.
wrong with that at
No,
all.
you don't play real video games. You play World of Warcraft. Shut your face.
I've played World of Warcraft for 86 hours straight, so that's a marathon right there.
How many
did you
elf
fast
grenades?
and/or wear-
How many? Yeah.
No, because
She's-
you can get up
it's not
from
a real
that, really.
marathon.
Like, you just
You
go
paused,
to town.
right?
Hey, Joel. Let's say day 2 into 48 hours playing, and if you're playing in an arcade, is there any stress involved from anyone actually watching you from behind? I can imagine the first maybe 24 hours you're going good, people are watching you, but as you start getting into 25, 26, 27 hours plus, do you feel that pressure at all? Is that adrenaline just rushing and you don't notice the people watching it and talking about you?
Oh, I feed off of it. I hear every word they're saying. When I recaptured the world record at Richie's in July of 2011, for the first time on the Game of Frenzy, there were people all around me, and I hadn't gone to the bathroom in 41 hours. And I ran to the bathroom real quick, and I was gone 1 minute and 9 seconds. And I lost like 12 men. And when I came back, I heard everybody saying, "Oh, he's going to lose the game, he's going to lose the game." And they were whispering behind me at 5 or 6 feet, and I'm thinking, I can hear you. And but I feed off of people talking. Nowadays, when I play, I'm in my garage right now. I've got my machine in my garage, North Carolina here. I hear people. The people I'm on the stream. I'm on Twitch or Justin TV or something like that, and people are constantly talking to me, and I feed off of that. The attention keeps me awake, keeps the discussion going, and there's no pressure on people watching. I enjoy playing the game so much, and at this point in what I do, it's more of trying to get a record for a certain time or a certain score, that sort of thing.
Joel's trying to be the first human being to ever play an stand-up arcade game for 100 hours. That is the goal that he has set out.
How close have you come thus far? What's your personal record into this?
I've gone a little over 50 hours before, but I wasn't scoring as fast then. But I'm scoring much faster now, and I've gone less time. And there's not a lot of difference between 48 and 72, even though it sounds like mathematically it is. It's a process of keeping your body going. And it's when someone's playing Cubert or Frenzy or Nibbler or some game like that, and you're at the 48, 50-hour mark, you have the game playing ability, but what you need is your body to cooperate. 53, I'm doing everything I can to stay in shape and what have you, and later on this year we're going to see about that 100 hours. When George and Ed go for Cubert in February,
this is the Cubert off and Valentine's Day we spoke of.
You should look for some long time there. No one's ever gone more than 72 hours. No one's ever gone more than 68 and a half. That's Ed. If somebody goes over 72 hours, I expect that the first one of those two will be the first one to do it. Come up here in the next several weeks.
So pay attention, because starting Valentine's Day, 2 men at the same time are going to be going close to 70 hours.
Yeah, and I expect that they'll go over it. I think it'll be a great battle. And then after they finish, I hope to come, back and try to get close to that 100. You have to do it in increments for your body to learn it. But I think that 100 hours is very possible.
Imagine it's kind of like being a runner. You're running after a certain amount of miles. It just, everything goes numb and you're just able to keep going no matter what.
Exactly. And the reason that I'm going for 100 hours is because most of the great things in video games have already been done. Billy Mitchell had the perfect Pac-Man. David Race had the fastest perfect Pac-Man. The pole position score. Todd Rogers, gamer extraordinaire, has done so many things. But as far as the
don't forget Rudy Ferretti on Splatterhouse.
Yeah. As far as single feats that have not been accomplished yet, no one's ever played a video game verifiably, or even saying that they did in the first place, for 100 hours. And I want to be the person who has accomplished that when I finally, put my last quarter in and walk away.
Here's a question for you. You said how you feed off of the crowd and everything like that. So I can only imagine, you sort of feel kind of cocky. You got all these people watching you. You've been playing for 80 hours or whatever, or 50 hours or whatever like that, and you're knocking them dead. If you hear someone, trash talking in the back, have you ever trash talked them in return and just shut them down and did something extraordinary on screen? What's your best comeback for something like that?
Well, the best comeback is to successfully get that man out of that room that you're in and go on to fight again. But as far as, I don't really throw trash talk to people. I usually just throw sarcasm at them. And I'll make a great move, or there's certain moves you can make to please a crowd that you don't would not have to ordinarily make anyway. So I'll make that move, and then I'll throw a little sarcasm and keep on going. But most people that I have found in the classic gaming industry or in the community now are not like they were back in the 80s when that trash talk would really occur. Now everybody respects each other pretty much. They like each other. They respect each other. They know that if you're at a certain level of gaming at this point, this score, this game, whatever, that you must be somebody that knows what you're doing, that you should have a little bit of respect, and they appreciate. I don't really find it's not a bad community at all. We all have some egos, okay? We all have our issues, but most of us are pretty much settled adults. There are a few children around, but most of us are pretty settled adults, and we respect each other. So it's more of an encouraging type thing, and that's one thing that Richie Knucklez has come in and has accomplished is he has been a uniter. I mean, Richie's kind of brash sometimes, okay, but that's part of his charm. But Richie's a uniter. He cares for everybody, and Walter Day, of course, is like the Mecca, the guy who started the Mecca in Ottumwa, and he's still the figurehead of charm. Walter Day could walk in a room and tell you that you're about to die and make you feel good about it. That's how wonderful Walter Day is. And so it's a great community that we're involved in, and that's what makes me want to play even more. And that's what makes me want to walk away with that 100 hours.
That's awesome, Joel. I really hope you do it. If you never need like a bodyguard, I will make sure to usher along any naysayers from that frenzy machine.
Ryan, that means you have to fast for a week too. You've got to be nimble.
I'll be eating buffalo wings behind him. Go, Joel! You're doing great.
You can't take any naps. There's no itis in this.
If anybody out there is curious as to who it is on the phone and you have Netflix, Chasing Ghosts is as easy as just on demand.
Yeah.
You don't have to rent the DVD. You just go in there and it's on demand. It's called Chasing Ghosts, and you can remember Joel as the character who is really, really into Frenzy and Berserk. Berserk being the game with evil Otto with the big smiley face that comes after you. It's a great game.
Yeah, I was horrible at that game. It's with the robots talking, right?
Yeah.
I died at the second, that very second. The
a
robots
tough
start
game.
talking, and I can't even make it past the first little screen. So the fact that you sit there for 40 hours and play it just means that you're awesome or I suck, or probably both. Probably both.
Well, I appreciate that. The reason I appreciate that game so much is it's not a little kid's game. It's like a game of chess to me. The angles and the moves, and you have to have pretty good reflexes. When we were in Denver for the Kong Off 2 recently, at age 52, I busted the speed record on Frenzy for 1 million points. I was really proud of that. To still have a physical agility to do that. And it's because of the people that were behind me and cheering me on that helped me to push myself further than I ever thought. So, you guys, I appreciate your nice thoughts and everything, but Richie Knucklez is the man right now. He is the Twin Galaxies. He is the arcade, and I'm much better for knowing him. And I surely appreciate the time you've given me tonight.
Oh, well, we really appreciate you coming on it and talking with us, talk about Richie, and we really want to thank you for giving us a call tonight.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, sir.
You have a great night, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Joel.
Get back to training.
Bye-bye.
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 It is 9:49. We have 10 minutes left of the show.
Where did the night go?
I don't know.
You were busy talking.
It went like that. Did
I
talk that much?
Sort of the point of these radio shows.
You were telling interesting stories?
Well, one of the main things that I really want to get out there is please look for the movie The King of Arcades. It is sort of just my buddy Sean has put so much work into this. He's sitting right next to me now. So much time and effort into this movie. So please just go out there, check it out, thekingofarcades.com.
Now, how did you hook up with Sean? How did you hook up with the whole entire...
Sean just came to the arcade to film. Which event was it?
I don't remember. I was just intrigued by the marathoners, just that people were doing these hours and stuff. Like, someone's got to be... I kept seeing what was going on in his arcade, and I just felt like it needed to be documented. There's just so much crazy stuff going on there.
Our arcade is very event driven, and
it's like nothing I've ever seen before in my life.
We do not just open the arcade doors and let people play games. I'm a DIY arcade punk rock promoter from back in the day. I had my own little punk rock scene going on in the part of New Jersey I live in, and I applied that to the arcade scene so that every weekend something was going on that was exciting.
So tell us about the arcade. What are the hours? Do we have to make appointments? How does that work?
Well, as you'll see in the movie, we shut the arcade in January of 2000. Actually, a little bit better than a year ago. My wife and I were starting to have a little bit of a breakdown in my work-life balance. So I closed the arcade. My daughter was going to kindergarten in September, so I decided I was going to quit, close the arcade, and spend the next 9 months homeschooling my daughter. and teaching her how to read and how to write and get her ready for kindergarten. Spend every waking second I could with the love of my life, my little 6-year-old, Faithy, her name is. And in September, when she did go to school, my dreams came true. I spent all my time with her before she went to kindergarten. And then when she went to kindergarten, I was like, you hear of the empty nest, I'm like, what do I do now? My daughter's in school. I have that anxiety of being separated from my daughter, which makes me sound really, really strange. But trust me, once you have a daughter, you'll never be the same. And I reopened the arcade in a different location. At that same time, we were working on the Kong Off 2 in Denver, and we acquired Twin Galaxies. So now my plate is so full. The arcade I've been paying rent on the arcade for 4 months now, and we're really not even open yet. We are about to open this weekend coming up on Friday. It's going to be $10 to get in. Unlimited play. All the games will be on free play. That will continue into Saturday. I also do a web show Saturday nights called Arcade Culture. And this Saturday will be the first Arcade Culture from the arcade. And we will be discussing Twin Galaxies and the future. Just like we're doing now, we will be discussing the future of Twin Galaxies and what I have planned and what is in store with the movie and the company as well. And that is on Twitch TV. And you just search Richie Knucklez and Twitch TV.
The movie King of Arcades, which we're certainly here to discuss to the forefront. You said March.
Yeah,
March-ish?
it's probably not going to be. I would say more like April. Yeah, because we're at the end of February. We're going to California next in Chicago to interview the founders of Atari and some of the programmers.
Nolan Bushnell's a close friend of mine.
Yeah.
Because we're talking to everyone who made these games and everyone who's involved. I feel like it's a billion-dollar industry, but no one's really documenting the history of it. And I think as time goes on, another even 100 years, whatever, people are going to care more about the birth and these early games and the people that created them and all that stuff. And I'm trying to document a lot of that while these people are still alive and able to tell the stories.
That's a super fast turnaround. You finish in February.
We're very hopeful.
It's going to take a while. I've been all the interviews. I type what everybody says. I have it all on paper so I can piece. But it's going to take a while. Yeah, the post production is going to take me a while. I mean, I'm being
Have you been editing thus far?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. But it's gonna take a little while, but we'll see how it goes.
Did you guys see the trailer?
Yes, I've seen the trailer.
The trailer is amazing. This guy does such good work. It's not weird. It's so much more than what you're expecting.
Well, that's what pulled me in. I saw it on Kickstarter, watched the trailer, and I said, I need to give them my money.
The beginning of the movie, it starts out, there's King of Kong moments where it's actually funny and entertaining, but we get to the heart of these people in the middle of the movie, right when you start to care about them is when we pull the rug out. But it is, I think you don't need to be into video games at all to get pulled into the way the movie's put together. That's the plan. That's how it seems to be coming together right now.
This is actually, all at the same time, a very exciting time of my life, but it's also the most tragic part of my life. My life is a wreck. The time that I spend away from home and doing these things is really taking its toll on my family life. So I seem to be smiling on the outside, but I'm dying on the inside. It's the life-work balance that I am trying to achieve is right now at an all-time low.
It's hard to balance quality of life sometimes.
It is.
It really is. So.
It is. And my friends who know me the best are all very worried about me. This Christmas was really hard. But hey, you know what? Life goes on.
It's a new year.
It's a new year.
I would like to thank Richie Knucklez and Sean Tiedeman for coming in to talk about the King of Arcades. Thank you for bringing all the wonderful guests in.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. You guys are great.
Billy Mitchell, Walter Day,
Joe West.
All three of them. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. Wrapping up, let's go over the plugs one more time. Richie, where can we go to find out about King of Arcades and your arcade and your band?
Okay, where you hear my band, which is my saving grace right now that keeps me alive right now other than my daughter, is knucklesandwich.com. The album will be out hopefully in the next couple months. We've been in the studio for 3 months. It's going to be a 17-song release, and that is knucklesandwich.com. My business, where I sell the arcade games, is richieknucklez.com, and that's RICHIEKNUCKLEZ as in zebra.com. You can see a bunch of games that I have online and the quality of work that we do. And, of course, the movie is thekingofarcades.com.
Tom.
Oh, sorry. One more thing. Sorry. TwinGalaxies.com. How could I forget?
Yes, absolutely.
TwinGalaxies.com, and within 30 days, we should have the database back up.